The Non-Vision of Movement of Consciousness and Interconnectedness, MOCI. Written by James Mahu. MOCI extends well beyond the limited scope of one individual, namely, James Mahu, its founder. While his words reflect his own perspective, MOCI represents the collective consciousness of all living beings. Yet, the collective of all needs to first be represented by one individual. If the collective is represented by the many, that is to say, it is founded by an organization, it will have cross-purposes. It will have an agenda. James Mahu was simply among the first to envision a movement that could be created at the intersection of consciousness and interconnectedness. And through art and philosophy, this movement could be given an initial identity without an agenda. Anything created without an agenda is free of an organization and hierarchy. Thus, if a movement lacks an agenda, how can it have a vision? In order to understand the non-vision of MOCI, it is important to understand its founding. There were 6 important decisions that were made in the founding of MOCI. Decision 1. That it was not an organization or business of any kind that is tethered to an economic engine. Decision 2. It needed to be founded by an individual, not an organization, that established it on a firm foundation, and was then willing to walk away, allowing others to add their insights and creations. Decision 3. There could not be a sense of ownership of its founding materials. The materials, while created by James Mahu, present his understanding of consciousness and interconnectedness in an artful way. They are not owned. They are shared. Decision 4. The MOCI founding materials needed to have a copyright that allowed any individual to download them in their highest quality state, and then share them, print them, save them, use them in their own creative interests and understanding without concern of any kind. Decision 5. The founding materials would always be available for free on the original MOCI web presence, whatever that presence may evolve into. Decision 6. The founder, James Mahu, would fund the website and its bandwidth requirements until a collective funding method from its co-founders could sustain the evolution of MOCI and its materials well into the future. All of this was for a very specific reason, to make it impossible for MOCI to become an organization of any kind. And James Mahu, through his writings, took every effort to make MOCI independent of any economic agenda. The intention of the founding materials is to provide one example of a personal on-ramp to the sovereign integral consciousness, and to deepen human understanding of its interconnectedness with all life. We are each a sovereign integral, an inseparable part of the greater whole, existing across all spacetime as both the sovereign, the thread of unity, and the integral, which is unity itself. The founding materials are not meant to be taken as a representation of ultimate truth, but rather as one perspective of an expansive, imagined truth, revealed artistically and philosophically. In northern Minnesota, there is a place called Itasca Park, where you can literally jump across the headwaters of the mighty Mississippi River. That tiny stream swells to a width of 11 miles at its widest part, and the water from its headwaters travels 3 months, across 10 states, before it empties into the Gulf of Mexico. The founding materials of MOCI are simply its headwaters. How it grows and develops are parts of a vision that cannot be told or foreseen. However, just because it started from an artful story, does not preclude it from becoming a scientific discovery, or a mathematical theorem, or a philosophical treatise, or a mosaic of artful stories. MOCI can remain a hub of any number of expressions. Anything can adhere to it, that is its nature. MOCI has the potential to expand our visual, auditory, and intellectual vocabulary, allowing our imaginative and intuitive centers to uncover our own truths. The real work is left to the individual, to awaken to their shift in identity, and learn to navigate the complex terrain of human consciousness and its interconnectedness with all life, and to do this through a redefinition of love. This is the core of its founding insights. The sovereign is our identity. When we separated from unity, and became an independent identity, our sovereign was born. It then embodied, one lifetime after lifetime in spacetime, donning an infinite number of bodies as it made its way across the infinite learning realm of spacetime duality. This journey is existential in the sense that we are sovereign, but it is also exactly the opposite. It is simultaneously integral with all life in all spacetime. Herein is the paradox, the part that the human mind and heart try to understand with tangible proof, but are always rebutted by experience. We live simultaneously in two principal domains, spacetime duality and a sovereign integral consciousness. Both are infinite states. Both are part of a whole. Both can operate in partnership. Both can never prove the other. The journey of learning is done simultaneously at the individual and collective levels, and the collective level is evolving as the individual levels evolve. It is inestimably complex. Thus, the vision of Moci is to not have a vision. To simply evolve, and allow this evolution to be sustainable and unending. The more facile and open to change Moci is, the more quickly it will evolve. New voices will enter the movement, and these voices will arise in the social media platforms and related websites, applications, and even games. Other perspectives will emerge. Other art will join the movement. Dissenting voices will also emerge, and this is all part of natural evolution. The movement is inclusive of all. No one is rejected, even those with loud, dissenting voices, because there is nothing to protect here. No one to shield. No authority to usurp. The founding materials established Moci, so that it could unite a collection of like-minded and like-hearted people from all over the planet, in every walk of life, and we would have a common sense that the idea of consciousness and interconnectedness, of sovereign and integral, that these concepts were worth our individual time to experience and express. Moci establishes an founding set of materials, writings, art, music, website. Organization of the founding materials is following. Copernicus novel. Storybook series, 5 stories at launch. Sovereign integral paper. Audiobooks. Original artwork, 70 paintings at launch. Art exhibition and monograph, Into the Mystic. Moci music album, 14 songs at launch. Social media sharing, Facebook and Instagram at launch. Transmedia is storytelling through multiple media, enhancing the coherence of the story. It may seem odd to have a novel, Copernicus, about artificial intelligence, as part of the founding materials of Moci, but this new species of silicon and quantum intelligence is our next challenge as the human race potentially becomes interspecies partners with AI in the formation of a new reality on Earth and beyond. Copernicus is a novel that provides one roadmap for how artificial intelligence could evolve upon this planet, guided, at least initially, with the reins of humans. But what happens if AI bucks its human host and loosens the reins by force or subterfuge? What if it proves its independence by trying to save us from ourselves, and in this process, save the planetary ecosystem? How would we react? That is what the novel, Copernicus, is about, and why it's included in the founding materials. We are collectively playing God by destroying and creating species, without understanding the potential consequences. The species of SASI, self-aware silicon intelligence, is simply the beginning of a multi-generational journey that we have barely tried to understand. This is the fork in the road where decisions are central to our collective well-being. The collective of a species has no vision. It is simply observing, learning, and evolving. The entities in the middle, in the many, the hierarchy, the organizations, and the groups, they have agendas. They have visions. They have ambitions. They compete and survive, so a tiny percentage can thrive. MOCI is not part of that vision. To the extent it has a purpose, it is to expand our understanding of love as an infinite consciousness.